Officers and hospital staff lining the way as Deputy Ruiz's body was taken to the medical examiner's office.
He died after he was allegedly attacked by someone he was arresting. Investigators say Clinton Hurley assaulted Deputy Ruiz at a substation in Avondale before stealing an MCSO vehicle and taking off. Tonight, our Zach Crenshaw at that substation where a vigil was being held.
And Zach, an emotional moment for everyone there, but we've learned it was interrupted by gunfire.
Yeah, it certainly was. Just on the other side of this MCSO substation is where there were kind of two barrages of gunfire that erupted. And in fact, we were here when all of this took place and kind of captured the chaotic situation as it all unfolded. Take a listen.
He's running slow!
Where's he at?
Go.
They said a white shirt.
White shirt? Where's running that way?
You can hear the confusion and chaos there. We watched as deputies detained and handcuffed one guy, that person later telling officers he was shot at, and the gunfire came from a car. I was also told no one was found injured or shot out here at this scene. So to reiterate, this shooting likely not connected to the vigil in any way. But that, of course, is why the law enforcement community was out here in the first place, for that vigil to honor Deputy Ruiz. He had been with MCSO just 3 years and was attacked at this substation Saturday before passing away. That suspect, who is a convicted child sex predator, stole Deputy Ruiz's car, actually smashed through the gate, which you can still see out here, and then was shot hours later in Tonopah. We talked to the man who shot him, his father, who was face to face with that accused cop killer's pistol.
That's when I said, shoot him. You know, this guy's gonna kill us if we don't.
Before we get to that moment, you have to understand Charles Birmingham's son was nearly carjacked by Clinton Hurley the day before.
My son caught him out of the corner of his eye and pulled a gun on him and said, hey, what are you doing? And
that was less than 24 hours before Hurley allegedly murdered MCSO Deputy Juan Ruiz and stole his gun and car.
he's one step above crazy, you know what I mean? I could just see it.
The family saw it once again 24 hours later.
This was it. This was his last stand right here.
Birmingham didn't know at the time that Hurley was a convicted child sex predator, a violent fugitive on the run, and that his mom lives in the area.
No, I did not know for a fact that he was the cop killer.
But he knew something was off when he walked outside with his armed son, Charlie Jr., to confront the tattooed stranger.
And then I'm like, this is it. We're going to finish this right now. Cops are coming. You're not leaving. And he lifts his shirt and he says, oh, yeah? And I said, son, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. And at this time, he's pulling it out. And I'm telling my son, shoot him, shoot him.
Junior's gun jammed.
So he turns towards my son and fires off 2 shots. By that time, my son recocked the gun and this blasted him right in the chest. Bap, 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 bap.
The father and son unscathed. That suspect,
there's some blood there,
had been hit and injured.
And he went over there and laid there crying and screaming.
Evidence markers and medical supplies still scattered in the gravel where Hurley kept firing.
And he shot at me 2 more times.
Deputy Ruiz's family needs more than your prayers. They need to know that you actually care, that men and women put on badge and uniform and sacrifice their lives.
Sheriff Paul Penzone knows nothing can bring back his deputy, but he's grateful the manhunt is now over.
It is with a sense of relief that I express to you. I am glad to know that he is off of our streets.
The father and son, though, have one regret.
I wish we had killed him the night before. You know, the officer would be alive.